Rajapaksas have mounted an incredible comeback. They won more than 52% of the vote, as clear as a majority gets. While taking oath, Sri Lanka's president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, made a promise. He assured tolerance for all religions and cultures. He said he will be everybody's president. But the first few weeks have not gone as per this plan, it seems. On Wion Edit tonight, we discuss why the return of the Rajapaksas has put Sri Lanka on the edge. The last election was a divisive one. The Rajapaksas got the majority support, that's the Sinhalese. They make up about 75% of Sri Lanka's population. Most of them are Buddhists. The minorities, more specifically the Tamil Hindus and the Muslims, voted for the rivals of the Rajapaksas. More than 85% of them voted for Sajith Premadasa, the son of a former Prime Minister who was assassinated by a suicide bomber of the LTTE. So why don't minorities vote for Rajapaksa? Why don't they trust him? They say they're afraid. The aggressive campaign against the LTTE in 2009 has left a lot of scars in Sri Lanka. The Rajapaksas, of course, they get credit for winning the war. At the same time, they're also accused of war crimes. But this, 2019, was supposed to be a new chapter. Gotabaya Rajapaksa said he is everybody's president, but his statements make the minorities nervous. The Sri Lankan president does not hide the fact that he won the support of the majority community. Soon after the win, in fact, came an acknowledgement from the very top. Rajapaksa said, and I'm quoting, "I always knew it was possible to win an election only with a Sinhala majority vote." And since then, his words have been followed by action. Gotabaya Rajapaksa took his oath of office inside a Buddhist temple. The choice of venue obviously sent a negative message to the minorities. He is Sri Lanka's first president with military credentials, an ideal candidate, some would say, to lead the country after the Easter attacks. But also his wartime legacy is his biggest handicap in a multi-ethnic Sri Lanka. The world had hoped that Rajapaksa would start with reconciliation. India, in fact, said as much. The Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, said this during the president's visit to Delhi last week. He must begin with reconciliation. But a series of events in the past few days point to an impending crackdown. And I have a list for you tonight. 1. The Swiss embassy official who was detained. Reports say that she was forced to unlock her phone and share information about Sri Lankans who had sought asylum in Switzerland. Before being released, they threatened her. They threatened to kill her if she told anyone. That's the first development. Development number 2, more than 700 police officials who investigated the Rajapaksa family over the past few years now cannot leave the country. Airports are on alert. Development number 3, a news outlet critical of the Rajapaksas has been raided. Several journalists were forced to hand over their computers. Police say that they're being investigated for hate speech. Sure they are. Development number 4, police held an 8-hour-long interrogation, 8 hours, of a journalist from another media house who is known for his criticism of the Rajapaksas. Number 5, an old case against President Gotabaya Rajapaksa over the disappearance of a journalist was set to begin last Wednesday. It has now been postponed. 6, the new Defence Secretary of Sri Lanka, a man called Kamal Gunaratne. He led the military unit that reportedly executed detained rebels. Of course, he denies those accusations. To be fair now, there is no proof that the men behind the Swiss embassy abduction were linked to Rajapaksa. But the rest of these cases that I have highlighted have the stamp of the government, and they do not give much confidence. The world is watching Sri Lanka very closely. It has economic problems. It has security challenges. This crushing of potential dissent, this crackdown on critics, can undo the gains made recently. The Rajapaksas have a handsome mandate. They have made the right noises at the beginning. Now they must show visible progress on reconciliation, on democratic reform, and on human rights.